Hi everybody and welcome to my channel, A Magical Life with Ayla. I'm Ayla Hillel and today we're going to be talking about people who think they know you better than you know you. So let's get started. So I've recently noticed that my vibration is becoming very sensitive. Once you begin to heal and you get connected to your body, you are also going to get connected to your vibration, and you will be able to feel when something affects your vibration in a positive way or affects your vibration in a negative way. Now, the biggest reason that we come to this three-dimensional plane to live our lives is to be with other people who have come here to live their lives as well. One of our greatest teachers is other people and relationships with other people. So I like to say that the greatest thing that brings us here is the greatest thing that causes us the most grief, and that is love. It's relationships of all kinds. One of the big deteriorating factors in a relationship is people who think that they know you better than you know yourself. Have you heard this before? Oh, well, I know you better than you know you. Okay, that's the first thing we're going to talk about today. The second thing we're going to talk about is mind readers. So let's talk about this idea of I know you better than you know you. If you have had any time at all to think about this idea of someone knowing you better than you know yourself, you know that that is a load of horse shit. Nobody knows you as well as you know yourself. Now, they may watch your actions. You may have habitual actions. Habitual means that you're in a habit. Okay, so let's say you're addicted to a particular drug and you've tried to get off this drug many, many times, and you've gone back to it many, many times. You may have a venomous, poisonous person in your life who tells you this lie that I know you better than you know yourself. The only thing another person can know about you is your actions. And because your inner landscape, your mind and your heart is so complicated and so intricate, nobody can ever really truly know you better than you know yourself. Now, they can know your actions. They can know that you are addicted to a drug. Usually when people are addicted to a particular drug, it's pretty obvious. We all see it. It's very hard to hide. And you may have a set of actions around that. So you've tried to give it up, then you've gone back. Then you try to give it up and you've gone back. Many addicts steal money and things from the people around them to get drugs. So that's another action. So I've heard of family members who have completely stopped associating with an addicted member of their family because that person has lied so many times and stolen so many times. And this may make a person feel like, well, I know that addicted family member better than he or she knows themselves. But you don't know the human spirit. You don't know that person's human spirit. People can change at any time. Many of them do. Now, I have noticed that when somebody who is addicted to alcohol is in a relationship and the other partner is like, that's it, I'm done. Quit drinking or I'm leaving. I have noticed that this is very, very difficult for the alcoholic because, you know, as much as they love that relationship, as much as they may love their partner, the draw of the alcohol is very, very strong. But the flip side of that I have noticed is that when the partner leaves and the alcoholic is alone, it's in that aloneness that they start wanting to change. They want to change for their own reasons, not because of this ultimatum that their partner gave them. So people do change. Throughout my lifetime, I'm almost 60, and throughout my lifetime, I have heard so many people say, oh, people never change, people never change. Yes, they do. That is a lie, that people never change. But I have noticed that people change when they want to change, when it is important to them. And to some partners, losing their partner, that's an important enough reason to get off a drug or to get off alcohol. For other partners, they need to be alone and they need to focus on that change. And usually that addiction has done so much damage that they can't go back with the other partner, you know, but they've made that change for themselves. So my point is, this is the long way around to talk about this. My point is that to look at another human being and to be so manipulative to say, I know you better than you know yourself, that is a lie. Nobody knows you better than you know yourself, because you know what's going on inside of you. They can judge your actions. They can judge your words. And I've heard people say actions are stronger than words. Okay, the actions will tell you where that person is at in that moment. Now listen to me here, this is true. A person's actions will tell you where they are at in that moment. And yes, you know that. You know by looking at their actions that they're in that place in that moment. Tomorrow, they can wake up and make a completely different decision. So, if you have somebody in your life, if you're struggling, like most of us are, struggling with something or other, and you have this person in your life who's trying to undo you by saying, oh, you'll never do that. You'll never go and do that wonderful, amazing thing for yourself. I know this because I know you better than you know yourself. You're going to have to figure out how to take some time away from that person. If you're struggling and you're trying to make changes and this person is undoing you with those type of words, you're going to have to take a break from that person. Now, one of the things that I will not do this, and you can sign on the dotted line that you understand what I am saying to you. I will never tell a person to end a relationship. But if you are trying to get well, if you are trying to overcome, you may need to take a break from that relationship so that you can figure out what it is that you need to do to heal yourself. Okay? Breaks are a good thing. Breaks allow us the distance and the time and the space to get well. So in the first part of this video about people who know you better, that think they know you better than you know yourself, what does this do to your vibration when somebody says something like that to you? First of all, it kind of makes you feel defeated, doesn't it? That here's this, if they know you better, then they know how to control you, don't they? That's a feeling. That's a feeling that is going to drag your vibration down. It's going to bring your vibration down. And you're going to lose power believing that this person, first of all, knows you better than you know yourself. But second of all, because of that knowledge, they have some sort of control over you. There's that feeling that they have some sort of control over you, or they have something about you that you don't have about you. Okay, does that make sense? So in the place of healing where you make up your mind that you need to heal, this is an ongoing trauma. This person who's undoing you with these type of words, I know you better than you know yourself. This is an ongoing trauma, and this is going to feed in to whatever it is that you're already trying to get over, trying to heal from. So if you cannot take a break from that person, if you cannot go live with a friend for a little while, or whatever it is you need to do to cause space, you're going to have to figure out how to have a perception, how to perceive those words. Usually somebody who says, I know you better than you know yourself, are vying for control of your life. They're vying for dominance of your life. They don't really mean to traumatize you and to feed into your already traumatized situation. But lots of times it comes from a place of wanting to help, even though it doesn't help. And understanding why they're like this doesn't help you at all. So you either have to create some distance between you and that person for a bit, or figure out how to perceive so you can just let those words go. If you get to a place where you can just veto those words and just let them go, that has nothing to do with you. So much of what other people do to us, controlling us, manipulating us, trying to make us believe that we're something that we're not, that's not about you. That's about them. And that's a really hard thing to get our minds wrapped around, isn't it? And we tend to think it's too simple. It's too simple that this person is treating me the way they're treating me because they have deficiencies, because they have insecurities, because they have self-worth issues. That's all on them. The way a person treats you is about them. So we look at that because we've heard this our whole life, haven't we? That, the way a person treats you is more about them than it is about you. So we tend to think that it's too simple. It's too simple. It's too simple to just say, this person has issues. It's not my problem. I've got a whole nother set of problems, but this person has issues. When things tend to be too simple, we tend to ignore them. We tend to negate that thing that is actually the essence of the truth about that matter. But it's just too simple. Trust me when I tell you, the way people treat you is not about you. It's about them. Okay? They don't know you better than you know yourself. That is a manipulative, controlling tool to convince you that they know what you're going to do next. They can undo all of the things that you're trying to do for yourself by telling you that they know you better than you know yourself. All right. So I don't know if my suggestions are helpful here. I know that going to stay with someone else for a while to put some distance between you and that person, that just does not work for some people. They are not in a position to be able to go and do that. So I don't know if that's a helpful suggestion. I don't know if it's a helpful suggestion that you have to get a perspective on what they are saying. lots of times, if we understand that this person has control issues, they have dominance issues, they have self-esteem and self-worth issues, lots of times we can come to an understanding inside of ourselves that these words don't matter really so much. These negative, hateful words don't matter so much because this person has as many issues as I do. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, situation between another person that will bring your vibration down. And I can't say this loud enough. I've been saying this for 20 years. There are people in this world who think they can actually read your mind. They cannot read your mind. Now listen to me. If you are being held hostage by somebody who is convincing you that they can read your mind, trust me when I tell you that is not true. Go back and look at one of my earlier videos on the Godding process. I'm going to give you 2 reasons why I know for a fact that people cannot read your mind. And then I'm going to tell you what they can read. Okay, go back and look at my video on the Godding process. You are made mind, spirit, emotions, physical body, hairs and fingernails and skin. You are made of the same quantum energy that source energy is made of. Who is source energy? What is that? Source energy is what a lot of people call God. Okay, I prefer source energy because God makes us think that there's this old bearded man sitting on a throne in some other, up in the sky, some other dimension up in the sky, judging us and micromanaging our life all the time. I don't believe that that's what God does. I believe that God creates. I believe that source energy, or the source of all, or the one, or the dude, or whatever you want to call it, because it's not a man, its job is to create. I believe that it does create out of a place of love, and I believe that we know nothing of that love. We know of our third dimensional love in this third dimensional space, but we don't know nothing of source energy and why it, we know why it creates out of love, but what that love is. Okay, so if you are made out of source energy, body, mind, and spirit, if you are made out of source energy, your mind is sacred ground, sacred, private ground between you and source energy. The only other being besides you that is allowed in your mind is source energy, and it's there because your brain, which houses your mind, is made out of source energy, and the energy of your mind is made out of source energy. This is why it's so important that you protect your energy. It's because you are made out of source energy. Nobody can read your mind because you are made out of source energy, and because this is private between you and God. Now listen to me. I'm telling you the absolute truth. You do not share a space in your mind with any other human being because your mind is private between you and God. It belongs to God. You are God. So you see how that happens? It's this interwoven mesh of things that we could never begin to straighten out or never begin to understand. But that's how it is. The second reason that I believe that people cannot read our minds is because if it could happen, it would be happening a lot more, wouldn't it? There would be people all over the world that would be reading our minds. But let me tell you something about the very few people in my entire life. I've known 2 people who wanted to convince me that they could read my mind. And I knew that both of them were full of crap from the beginning. They want to have something over on you. They want to convince you that they know you better than you know yourself because they can read your mind, right? They want to convince you that they have a superpower that you are never going to have because, well, you're just a mess. Okay? Nobody can read your mind. And I was having a conversation with a lady one day, a troll, she was low vibrational, low energy. And she said, just out of the blue, we were sitting there alone, and she said, I'm having a hard time walking through your mind. What? I was flabbergasted that another human being would say that to me. I'm having a hard time walking through your mind. And I said, what does that mean exactly? And she said, well, I can read minds. And I was like, no, you can't. She argued with me. She argued with me. And the whole tone of the argument was that she was special. She had this superpower because she was special. And none of us mortals could even aspire to be as talented as she was about reading minds. People, please listen to me. This is the biggest, in a spiritual setting, this is the biggest fraud you will ever hear. That someone can read your precious private mind where you and the Most Holy dwell. Nobody has that right. Now, the flip side of this is that, can you imagine the mayhem that would ensue if we could read each other's minds? I have relationships with people, certain people, that I have these thoughts, just these crazy thoughts. And if they could hear those thoughts, they wouldn't want to be my friend anymore. Okay? We all have those thoughts. We all have those thoughts. I mean, you have a friend you think basically is an idiot, You watch them just make bad decisions. And but you realize that person needs you, needs your energy, needs your presence in their life. So you maintain the friendship. They maintain the friendship because their spirit knows they need you. So we all have these thoughts about family members and friends and coworkers. And if we could all read each other's minds, those private thoughts that should never be spoken out loud, that's just how life is. There are some thoughts that we just have, and we never intend to say them out loud. They're not something that is appropriate to say out loud. They're just thoughts. And if you watch your friend do something idiotic, you don't want to say that out loud, because the next day, your friend could do something really brilliant. So you're really glad you didn't comment on what they did yesterday. So we have thoughts, we have ideas, we have things inside of our mind that are never coming out, that should never come out, that aren't appropriate to come out. But they're there. Okay? Can you imagine what would happen if we could all read each other's minds? The mayhem that would ensue, the darkness and the depravity that would happen in this world if we could read each other's minds? No, it doesn't happen. It really doesn't happen. There's not much more I can say about this, except it doesn't happen. And I really, really want people to understand this, because the two people that I have come across that have tried to convince me that they can read my mind were particularly toxic about it. It came across very venomous, very poisonous, like they really wanted me to believe this. And I'm a pretty hard nut to crack. It's like, you're going to have to show me some hard evidence that you are reading my mind before I'm going to believe anything like that. And besides someone trying to convince me, nobody's ever showed me any evidence that they can read my mind. So I have no basis for belief in this idea at all, and neither do you. Okay, now let me tell you what people can read. And I believe that we were created this way with this ability because we help one another with this ability. Now, what a person can read in you, if they're perceptive, pin that idea, if they're perceptive, is your energy. And the reason this is a very, very good thing is because if my dog just died, I don't have a dog, so I can say that. If my precious, amazing dog just died, and my friend walks through the door and they're like, hey, how you doing? Let's go party, let's go have some fun. And I'm sitting there grieving. I need my friend to click into my energy, to feel my energy. Most perceptive people will walk into a room and they will feel the energy of the room. If there's one person in that room, I tend to walk in quietly. Hi, how you doing? If the person says, I don't know, I think I'm okay. All right. Aren't I glad that I wasn't all happy and jovial and ready to go out partying with this person? Then I can sit down and I can have a conversation with them. And possibly through that conversation, they might start feeling better. So being able to read a person's energy, and this is not rocket science. This is not a psychic thing. If you walk into the room and the person looks very sullen and their words are kind of soft and down. I mean, when a person tells me I'm okay, okay to me is average. Things may be going as they're supposed to go, but nothing great. I never say I'm okay. I never say I'm okay. When people say, how are you? I say, I am most excellent. Because I'm not okay. Everything in my life is exactly as it should be. And I love that. I love that all my friends and family are healthy. My bills are paid. I've got a job that I don't mind going to every day. I have a healing practice where I help people learn to heal themselves. Everything is most excellent. Okay. And the way you raise your vibration to that most excellent place is you focus on what is good in your life. I mean, Rome could be burning down around your ears. Listen to the melody of the fiddler. Okay? Look around in your life and see what is good in that disastrous place. This is one of the things that helps raise our energy. Gratitude is the end all to be all that will raise your vibration. Okay. We can read each other's energy. We can be there for each other. A manipulative, controlling, conniving person is going to want to convince you that they can read your mind because they want to control you. They want to manipulate you. But a true healer, a true friend, is going to want to read your energy, is going to want to feel that you're having an amazing, wonderful day, life, year, whatever, or you're not. And if you're not, that true friend who doesn't want to read your mind but wants to read your energy is going to want to be there for you. Do you need to talk? What do you need to do? There are some times when I feel stressed, not very often these days, but sometimes when I feel stressed, I don't want to talk about it. I don't know how to talk about it. I want to go and be in the trees. I want to go and sit down with a tree or hug a tree or sit by the water in one of our beautiful parks here in Southern Oregon. that's the only thing that helps me. That's the thing that raises my energy. Not talking about my stress, but going and just releasing that stress and sitting in that beautiful sacred place of being outdoors. So this is really all I have to say about this. There again, somebody who is trying to convince you that they can read your mind, really the best course of action for that is just reject it. Just reject that idea. Really get it through your mind that this just doesn't happen. Source energy would never allow this is like a coworker who's not your boss coming to you, bossing you around. This person is simply another human being. They're not God. They want you to think they're God, but they're not God. Just like this coworker is not your boss. They have no right to come and boss you around. This human being doesn't know any more about you than you know about yourself. You know about yourself because you live inside of your body, in your mind, in your heart, in your emotions, in your energy. You live in that place. They don't live in that place. Okay, so lots of times we just have to reject. If you can't move out for a little while, if you can't put space between you and that person, you're going to have to just reject. The lady that tried to convince me that she was having a really hard time reading my mind, we just never talked about it again. And every time she would try to come around to that conversation in a group setting, I would shut it down. And there are people who fancy themselves psychics, and they will try to convince you that they can read your mind. They cannot read your mind. I can't say this enough, that this does not happen. Source energy would never allow another human being to enter your mind without your permission. And I don't even think it happens. My personal opinion is it doesn't even happen with permission. Maybe it does. I don't know. But I don't think it does. Because that's how private this space is. So private. You have no idea. This is why source energy created it the way it did. It's because it's so private. All right. That's all I have to say. I love you. And have an awesome week. And if you live in Medford, Oregon, I am at the Woolworth Building every Wednesday from 11 to 6. You can make an appointment with me by going to my website. There are 3 little steps you need to take to make an appointment with me. The minute you make an appointment with me at amagicallifewithayla.com, it shoots an email immediately. I check my emails periodically throughout the day. So if you are making an appointment for Wednesday, I'm going to get that email. I'm going to put you on my calendar. Go back and look at my calendar. You will see within 24 hours, you will see your initials appear in whatever slot you chose for your appointment. If you do not live in Medford, Oregon, I do distance Reiki, and I also believe that quantum entanglement allows us to heal each other at a distance. We can do this on Zoom. We can do it on the phone. There again, go to amagicallifewithayla.com and make an appointment. And we can talk. I will call you. We can talk on Facebook. We can connect on Facebook. And I'm getting my business number in order so that we can talk on the phone. We can also do distance Zoom. So make an appointment. amagicallifewithayla.com. And I'm on Facebook as Ayla Hillel, and Twitter and Instagram, all of those places. I'm learning to get consistent with stuff. So videos will be published every Friday. If you see a video on Wednesday or Thursday, I got lucky and I was able to make that video early, but normally videos will be posted on Friday. So I love you very much, and we'll talk again next Friday. Blessed be.